Her shoe crashed the site in minutes, not hours, not by the end of the day, minutes. That's the kind of power we're talking about. Caitlin Clark didn't just sell a shoe. She made a statement, one that rocked the foundation of Nike's billion-dollar strategy. For years, Nike bet everything on A'ja Wilson, endorsements, ads, a $20 million signature shoe deal. But now, it's clear, the future of women's basketball and its commercial empire belongs to Caitlin Clark. Let's rewind. Before Caitlin Clark stepped foot in the WNBA, Nike had already crowned its queen, A'ja Wilson, and for good reason. Wilson had the accolades: WNBA MVP, All-Star selections, Olympic gold. She was poised to be the face of women's basketball. So Nike went all in. Reports estimate a $20 million investment into her signature line. Not just shoes, full-scale branding, billboards, digital campaigns, and retail placement across North America. They launched sleek visuals, a polished logo, a bold slogan. They built her a brand from the ground up. A'ja was their answer to LeBron, just on the women's side. But here's the thing. No one was buying. The shoes sat on shelves. The buzz faded fast. And while Wilson continued to dominate on the court, the marketplace stayed silent. Nike didn't want to admit it, but they had a problem. Star power can't be manufactured. Then came Caitlin Clark, a college sharpshooter with range like Steph Curry and a swagger that made ESPN run her highlights daily. She didn't have a marketing campaign. She didn't need one. She had something more powerful: fan love. At Iowa, Clark shattered NCAA scoring records, sold out arenas in cities that didn't even host WNBA teams, and drew millions of viewers for women's basketball, something unheard of just 5 years ago. Her popularity wasn't manufactured. It was organic, explosive, and above all, undeniable. Nike saw the numbers, and they couldn't ignore them anymore. In a bold move, and perhaps a quiet admission of its earlier missteps, Nike unveiled something new: a Caitlin Clark player-exclusive pay shoe, released under the Kobe Bryant brand. Yes, the Kobe line, one of the most sacred spaces in all of basketball gear, a brand associated with legacy, grit, and killer instincts. To give Clark that honor, it wasn't just a collaboration, it was a coronation. The design was sleek, minimal, and tailored for performance, but it wasn't about the look, it was about what happened next. Within minutes of the launch going live on Nike's SNKRS app, the site crashed. Inventory vanished, sold out everywhere. Resale prices soared into the $700, $1,000 range instantly. This wasn't just a sneaker drop. This was cultural. This was historic. Nike hadn't seen demand like this for a women's basketball shoe ever. Suddenly, they had their moment, not with A'ja, but with Caitlin. So here's the hard truth: A'ja Wilson's signature line, great design, top-tier talent, and yet barely moved the needle. Retailers quietly reduced stock. Online buzz plateaued, and worst of all, consumer interest just wasn't there. Meanwhile, Clark, with a player exclusive, not even a full signature shoe, crushed every expectation. The numbers say it all. Clark's shoe sold out in under 15 minutes. Over 1 million searches online within the first 24 hours, trending #1 globally on social media. Immediate mentions on ESPN, Bleacher Report, and sneaker sites worldwide. A'ja Wilson barely trended. And here's the kicker: Clark is still a rookie. Nike hadn't even started her full campaign. No Super Bowl ad, no tour, no Netflix doc. Just a single shoe drop and the Caitlin Clark effect. This moment matters for more than just sneakers. It's a shift in how the biggest athletic company in the world sees the future of women's sports. For decades, brands like Nike treated women's basketball as a charity extension, investing out of obligation, not opportunity. But Caitlin Clark is proving something radical. Women's basketball can sell if you let the right voices lead, if you stop trying to force hype, and instead ride the wave that's already there. Clark doesn't need a team of marketers writing slogans. Her three-pointers write the slogans. Fans know real when they see it, and that's why Clark connects. Nike finally saw it. So what happens now? Will Nike give Clark her own full signature line? Will A'ja Wilson's $20 million campaign quietly fade? And what does this mean for the next generation of WNBA marketing? One thing's for sure, the game has changed. The fans have spoken, and Caitlin Clark, she's not just the face of the WNBA, she's the future of the industry. Behind the scenes at Nike HQ, the mood had shifted. Weeks before the Caitlin Clark pay shoe drop, Internal reports were already showing troubling signs. A'ja Wilson's signature shoe sales were underperforming projections by over 40%. Market research groups showed lukewarm brand recognition among Gen Z consumers. And in social media tracking reports, Caitlin Clark's engagement outpaced Wilson by nearly 8-1. Nike's executive marketing division held an emergency brand strategy meeting. The discussion? Brutally honest. We're losing the moment. We're trying to manufacture a movement when it's already happening organically elsewhere. Clark's audience isn't waiting for us. They're already buying. The decision came fast. Give Caitlin Clark the next Kobe drop. Let her test the water. What happened next stunned even Nike. The pivot to Caitlin Clark wasn't just a corporate brainstorm. It was forced by the sheer will of the fans across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Clark had become a cultural event. Unpaid fan edits, viral highlights, college kids camping outside arenas. She was pulling Steph Curry numbers in jersey sales. Her Iowa games had better local ratings than some NBA matchups. So when Nike finally dropped that pay sneaker, fans felt heard, and they responded. Reaction videos exploded. YouTubers unboxed the shoe with reverence. Twitter threads compared resale price trends to Michael Jordan's. This wasn't marketing anymore. This was consumer demand weaponized by authenticity. Nike was no longer leading the movement. They were catching up. Now, let's be clear. A'ja Wilson is a world-class athlete. She's an MVP, a champion, a leader, but Nike's strategy around her, branding, it never clicked. The messaging felt too corporate, too safe, too forced. Her shoe wasn't bad, but it lacked energy. There were no storylines fans could latch onto, no viral plays, no cultural gravity. Everything Clark represents, flair, swagger, game winners, long bombs, raw emotion, was what the fans were looking for. And they weren't getting it from Wilson's brand package. Nike bet on polish, but the market rewarded authenticity. And Caitlin Clark is as authentic as it gets. This isn't just about shoes. It's about how we choose our heroes. A'ja Wilson, for all her excellence, had a PR machine behind her. Caitlin Clark, by contrast, had the people. It's a classic marketing parable. Do you chase influence with a budget, or do you follow the fire that's already burning? Clark's rise is proof that no amount of corporate strategy can manufacture the electricity she brings every night on the floor. She wasn't handed this. She earned it. And that's why Nike's shift is so historic. It's an admission that fans matter more than forecast. So what does Nike do now? Sources say a full Caitlin Clark signature shoe is already in design. Not just a full line, multiple colorways, national campaign, global rollout. The company is also reportedly planning a docuseries following Clark's rise. Collaborative merch drops with streetwear brands, exclusive content around the WNBA All-Star Game, featuring Clark as the centerpiece. And if early signs hold true, Clark could easily become the first WNBA player to reach $100 million in lifetime Nike endorsements. Let that sink in. From a Midwest shooter at Iowa to a global branding juggernaut, all because she played the game her way and let the fans come to her. Caitlin Clark didn't just change the WNBA, she changed the rules of women's sports marketing. She proved that if you bring game, grit, and authenticity, the world will follow. And now, Nike is running right behind her. When Nike initially pushed A'ja Wilson as the face of women's basketball, it wasn't an uninformed move. Wilson is a gifted athlete with an incredible resume: MVP honors, Olympic gold, and WNBA championships. From a corporate perspective, she checked all the boxes: dominant on court, polished in interviews, and heavily involved in community engagement. But despite the multi-million-dollar branding campaign, her signature shoe didn't make a cultural splash. It wasn't about quality, it was about connection. Clark, on the other hand, didn't need Nike to tell her story. Her story told itself. She went viral before even touching a WNBA court. At Iowa, she packed arenas, led the NCAA in scoring and assists, and single-handedly drew millions to watch women's college basketball. When she entered the draft, the buzz was deafening. Nike didn't have to build her brand. She was the brand. That's the difference. Clark's fame came organically. Her relatability, her gritty game, and her no-nonsense attitude made her the people's champ. When Nike dropped the first Kobe-branded Caitlin Clark pay, it sold out before most fans could even hit the buy now button. Bots, resellers, sneakerheads, and basketball fans all converged. The demand broke Nike's app. That's not something you manufacture with ad agencies, that's raw market power.